Good morning, everybody. This is PillarTrading.com, and we are doing a market update for Tuesday, April 27th. The news that's due out today, we actually have some today, which is different than yesterday. Hopefully that moves the market a little bit. Yesterday, incredibly slowed down. The ES, CL, not much better. So, looking for a big trading day today, the first full-size day of the week. Starting off with the news, we have 9 a.m. numbers affecting U.S. markets. It's that S&P CS Composite 20 HPI. At 10 kicks off the good stuff. We've got CD consumer confidence as well as Bernanke testifying. We also have the Richmond Manufacturing Index. At 12:30 p.m. we have Geithner speaking. And that's it for the American markets. If you trade the euro, watch out for the Trichet at 10:15 a.m. So that's the news for today. Hopefully we can get that 10 a.m. push and make it a little bit exciting in the morning. If we head over to the charts, we're going to start off with ES on a daily chart. You'll recall that we were in these anchor ambush long here, hit to the tick. Now we are moving up towards that 1126.50 targets. We talked about it yesterday. Didn't see a whole lot of action on the ES yesterday, and there wasn't any news to push the market either way. So incredibly slow, boring morning, and then saw a little bit of a sell-off in the afternoon, which we're going to look at right now. So just remember, on the daily chart, we are anticipating the 1226.50s trading. That is our target right now. On the 15-minute level, we can see the early morning move of the day looked like the 15-minute trend was going to continue. We had this on Friday, had a series of measured moves, and then yesterday it continued upwards. That measured move broke down, and from there, you can see it on this chart. It's just back and forth chop all day. And what you have to do in order to really get an understanding of what happened is you go to a smaller time frame. This is looking at the 512 tick chart, and you can see yesterday just not a whole lot happening. So we had measured moves on both sides break. Halfway backs on both sides broke down, the short and the long situation. The only way you really made money yesterday, guys, is once two levels break, okay, in opposing directions. That's the definition of chop. So as soon as we had this ambush long, we were playing this micro long in the after hours. That broke down, didn't hit its target. The short also broke down. That's your cue that it's chop. And once you get in chop, you've got to play these micros, okay? You can forget about 15-minute levels until you get a series of these micros working out, because what happened was you can see that the micros were hitting their 50% and then hitting their negative 23% targets. Okay, the next move, you'll see it breaks down. All you have to do is take the next micro in the opposing direction. That gets you a first target hit. It also gets you a stop out once it moves back up after there's a little buying at that 1212 areas. But then here you can see another micro sequence that works out. You draw from those lows to swing highs. That gives you a 50% down here, negative 23% target hit. You do the next measured move, and you just keep following up these micros. So very small targets, very small returns, but they add up as you begin to trade them. And in a situation where you get chop markets, that's what you need to do. That's what you need to look for. Now, what are we anticipating in this after-hours session? Well, towards the end of the day, right around lunchtime, we had the market break down, and what ended up happening was we hit a series of measured moves to the downside. Now, this is one that worked out. The 50% traded right around that 2:30 time frame and hit its negative 23% target. Next thing you do, draw the next measured move up, and that now just hit its target. It traded about 30 minutes before the closing bell, hit its target in the after hours. Now the next measured move to the downside is going to be drawing from those 50% at 12:10.75s down to wherever this market turns around. If it turns around right here, you're just going to draw from those 12:10.75s to the lows here, which is 12:06. That gives you a halfway back at 12:08.25. Front run that by a tick, you've got 12:08s and a target down here at 12:04.75s. Now, if we look at the gap fill for tomorrow on the ES is at 12:08.50s. Okay, that is also lining up with the next measured move. You can even see it on the 15-minute chart here. That was the first measured move. The second measured move, you can see here, hit its target. So all you're going to be doing is drawing from that point down to these lows, and you can see that that lines up with the gap fill trade. This is a repeat of yesterday, where we had that bounce higher at the gap and 50%. Today we have a possible gap bounce lower. Now, what we are anticipating, if this does continue, if this measured move fills its gap and continues to come down, if we look at the larger time frame, the next measured move long is going to be this halfway back from 1186.25s up to these 1216.75s. Now, halfway backs have not been working on the ES in these large time frames. We're still in a range. Although we broke out of this double top here from last week, we are still in a range here until one of these moves to the upside works. Okay, so there's no buying this halfway back unless your sole ambition is to get your first target hit. These 1201.50s will get your first target hit. Will they work out? Probably not. We're probably going to see range until you get this series of measured move shorts to break down. Do not anticipate climbing higher to that daily long level. So that's the play on the ES, guys. Wait for these measured moves to work out. If they break down or if they hit these 1201.50s, that's a buy up into the gap fill and continued strength if we break the series of measured moves. If we look at CL, start on the daily chart. Same thing with CL. We were waiting for a pullback to these anchor long levels, and that's drawing from those 73.65s to recent highs. That's going to give you a pullback at the 80.35 level. That's what we're anticipating as the next entry for a daily long level. The same thing that's happening with ES is going on with CL. We look at a 15-minute chart. We've had measured moves the last 2 weeks, breakdown on both sides. There hasn't really been any buying halfway back, and right now halfway back is trading on CL, but again, it looks weak. We had a series of measured moves, just like the ES yesterday afternoon. A series of measured moves worked to the downside, and again, we can only anticipate that continues until it stops. You know, you trade the trend until it stops, and it's only going to fail one time, and that one time is when you buy the next micro in the opposing direction. So right now, the measured move that we are looking for is this has just traded, this 50% from those 84.30s down to its target. So the next measured move pullback short is going to be these 83.89s. Now, if this trades and breaks and 84s trade, then you are going to be looking to get long, anticipating that this 86.58 target is filled. Now again, same thing as ES, halfway backs have not been working. So at this level, at this 86 or 83.68 level, you have to anticipate that this level is only going to get a first target hit. Okay, we are not anticipating that this level is going to hold for an entire measured move success up here at this negative 23% target. We can follow it up in a series of measured moves, but I trade the micros on this. I wouldn't trade the 15 minutes. So that's the play on CL, guys. Basically looking for that daily long level, anticipating it, but trading the 15-minute trend, which right now is to the downside. Even though this halfway back is in the way, we're going to wait for that to break down before we trade any longs. So that's the play on ES and CL, guys. Hopefully we all had a good trading day yesterday, and I will see you all on the trading floor.